will run 200 miles here this afternoon in 2 segments, as is the tradition, and this the third NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There will be 2 competition yellows in the first segment, lap 45 to 55, and in the second, 155 to refuel the trucks. The halfway break will be 5 minutes. They get 2 sets of tires. They'll change at the midpoint. Over $500 million in prize money on the line. Under caution. That's what we particularly like across the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. An impressive starting lineup. We mentioned that we have 10 rookie drivers in the field. That is a measure of the new talent coming into this series. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid. Jack Sprague with his 4th career pole, 3rd on the mile ovals in the Chevy, alongside Michael Waltrip over from Winston Cup in the MW Windows Ford.
Back in row 2, the defending champion of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday, and Toby Porter, rookie, qualifying 4th.
Porter, of course, crashing in qualifying. We move to 5th starting spot. Kelly Denton up from the ARCA ranks, and Bob Keselowski, the veteran, a lot more backing this year from Dodge.
On the inside of row 4, we just talked to him, Kenny Irwin Jr. and Joe Nemechek, Winston Cup regular on the outside.
You met the graduate of All-Pro in motorcycles, the first woman to saddle up a truck, Tammy Jo Kirk, Michael Docken in the Dana Corporation Dodge.
And Dean Roper's boy, Tony Roper, on the inside of row 6, and Rich Bickle and Gerald on the outside.
Jimmy Hensley jumps into the truck that took last year, driving for Richard Petty at 43, and Curtis Markham, the Bush North veteran.
And on the inside of row 8, Chuck Bound, that's Jack Roush's truck, and Joe Rumpney's teammate, the other Roush truck on the outside.
Lance Norrick, the pride of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, alongside Butch Miller, who hooks up this year with former driver, now owner, Walker Evans.
And Phil Elliott protege, Ron Barfield Jr. on the inside of row 10, and Rick Pirelli out of Denver.
Jay Sauter says, I'm not down here to fill Skinner's shoes. I'm here to make my own footprints. He'll be in the black number 3 alongside Kenny Hendrick in California.
Carl Wagner's truck, Bobby Donner, and Rick Crawford, the all-pro driver, on the outside of row 12.
One of the 5 fastest trucks from the get-go, but qualifying 25th. Mike Bliss disappointed with that. He's alongside last year's Rookie of the Year, Brian Ruffner.
On the inside of row 14, Charles Hardy's truck, Lonnie Rush Jr. and Dave Resendez, 3-time winner, 1996.
West Coast veteran Dan Press is hooked up with his old friends at Spears Manufacturing, driver number 75, Joe Nemechek.
Randy McDonald, Mark Zero, and Stacy Campbell.
The provisional positions go to Doug George, who has a 3-race deal to start the season. Alongside him will be Toby Butler, and Butler replacing Bob Breback after the incident in qualifying for Ernie Irvin and Kenny Allen rounding out your starting lineup. 36 trucks made the show. A lot of notable drivers went home, including Felix Giles, who was hoping to be the first African-American driver in the series. Shane Doles from ARCA, Randy Tolsma from USAC, Tony Raines, the ASA champion, Darren Brassfield, the former 24 Hours a Daytona winner, and Mark Kinzer, the World of Outlaws champion. None of them made the cut.
It was tough to make the field here today. We have 6 onboards today. We'll be riding along, Barry said, in the Federated Auto Parts Ford.
A great road racer, driving for Ernie Irvin. Here's Mike Bliss, twice a winner last year in the Team ASE Ford.
Ron Barfield, we see great motel Ford, owned by Bill Elliott.
Elliott will be watching those pictures today for sure. Jimmy Hensley, getting a new ride for this year, and excited to be in the Cummins engine Dodge.
There's Rich Bickle, this year's diehard truck.
And Joe Nemechek is also going to have Bell South Mobility, number 87 for Nemechek. Finally getting a chance to race close to home. We are set to kick off the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Jack Sprague brings the field down to the green flag.
These 6 cars practice side by side. Can they run children? We'll find out. So far, so good.
Sprague got a great jump on Waltrip. They couldn't stand the pace set by Hornaday through turn 1 and 2. Roper rather, the three-time USAC champion, beat Roper. This is his boy Tony doing a nice job out there so far.
Oh, got a crash into the water.
Joe Kirk has hit the wall. The first woman ever to make the grade in this series with a great qualifying run. She's been, I think, the success story of the weekend. The success did not last long. She has clobbered the wall at turn 2. Hit it pretty hard, Benny.
Pretty serious damage.
The first yellow of the day flies over Walt Disney World Speedway. We'll take a break and come back with more. We're back in Orlando, just ready to go green. The green is in the air. Lap 6 for the restart after Chevy Trucks is just now exiting pit road. Will be directly in front of the field as they come back up to speed. There she is down on the apron as the leaders and championship favorites, Sprague and Hornaday, head for turn 2.
Looks like the work that Hornaday did on his truck is working out as he presses, pushes the 24 truck.
Hornaday on a mission, wanting to defend that. Michael Waltrip, I was going to say in third, but forget that. He is around Hornaday in the 7th spot.
And Hornaday's going to try to get him back. It might have been all the time.
Rod tried to get him loose, but Waltrip hangs on. Now here comes Nemechek wanting a piece of Hornaday. That would be the multicolored number 87. He'll go on board with Joe.
And these boys getting racing early on in the Walt Disney World Speedway.
It's an interesting racetrack. It looks wide. The drivers will tell you it is in fact narrow, and passing opportunities at a bit of a premium.
Joe Rutland goes on the inside of Kelly Denton. Kelly's awfully high in that green truck, number 30. And loses 3 spots.
And right behind him, Keselowski had no place to go and also dropped back. About 4 positions. Not to mention the traffic is going to be a big issue here. We were going to refer to lap traffic. This, of course, is race for position traffic. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, Gabby Joe radioed in. Her truck was just too loose. She couldn't keep it out of the wall. She's got a heavy damage to the left rear quarter panel. Back out on the track, dragging the bumper a little bit. She may be back in, but this team really disappointed. They were really hoping for a great start to the season.
I will not be the first to do that. That is Kenny Irwin Jr., and he's running in 7th spot. And following him is Rich Bickle in the number 17 with
there's
Mini Trucks. That looks like Dan Press on the right-hand side of your screen. That would be the Spears number 75. And Kirk is involved again. The other truck involved is Kirk.
Almost the same identical spot that she hit the wall just a moment ago. We see now there's more damage in the rear as the rear tailgate. It's about to come loose and press. Heavy damage to the right front. Let's see if we can tell what happened up in turn 2. This is turn 2. There we see Dan Press on the inside of Tammy Joe. Goes out on the inside. Might have been some contact between he and Nemechek. And he barely touches, he barely touches Tammy Joe enough that she loses control and backs in the fence.
Yeah, that's too bad. She was all alone the first time. That time, she was an innocent bystander. Nemechek into the back of Press, and that's going to bring both Dan Press and Tammy Jo Kirk to pit road for attention. You got to be impressed with Dan Press. Here's a guy who's been doing this an awfully long time. He's been both a driver and a crew chief over his career. There you see the damage to the Bumblebee Raw 4. That was by Jeff Levine. Press decided he was going to hook up the Spears and Sherlock 30 pounds. Benny, he's looking pretty fit down there in the garage.
I didn't even know him. I said, who's that guy over there? Not really, I didn't. Very impressive. Kenny Hendrick had slowed just before this accident. I didn't think he would be able to make it back, and he has stalled over at coming off right in the middle of turn 2, as a matter of fact.
So a couple of newcomers to this series have found it tough sledding thus far. Sprague is the leader. We'll be right back. He had a face full for sure as we go back to green. Battle for the lead. Hornaday challenging on the outside. Gets a finger now in front right in front of Sprague.
Wow. Can you pass on the outside in turn 1? Hornaday says, I can.
Michael Waltrip said before the race he thought he could do that. He's about to get passed on the inside as they go to 2. That's Nemechek, and he's dragging Rutland with him from 16th. Rutland is challenging for 4th. Oh, Hornaday gets loose with Sprague all over his tailgate.
Him again, and this time
riding with Joe Nemechek in a very close third as the comes into the middle of the fray. Good racing, and basically what we expected in one regard today to be tough, but believe me, the challenges certainly in the mix for the lead here with Nemechek and Ruttman right there. Ruttman's probably the fastest truck out there.
It just might be. We didn't expect to see this much passing at this racetrack because it's a very difficult racetrack. About 10 of them crashed. We went home in a car. We did not expect to see passing, especially this early on. Kid Michael Walker has already moved up the racetrack trying to find a better route.
And that's Kenny Irwin Jr. tucked in behind him, the national USAC Midget champion, taking a shot at truck racing. He adapted to the trucks pretty quickly. First time he sat in one, he sat on the pole. That in Richmond, Virginia, last fall. Spray beginning to stretch it out just a little bit. Let's see if we can find Jay Sharp, the number 3 truck now, 13 on the field and going forward. He qualified 21st.
That is Curtis Martin in the 13th truck, the decent truck right behind.
Martin's been pretty impressive. That's Mike Colarucci's truck. Mike was entered in the back here, but Martin, for the second time in his career, hopped into it and has done very well moving forward from 13. Let's go to Bill.
Well, Jay Sauter is coming through the field at a pretty good rate. You know how hard these guys work building new trucks during the off-season? That's not a new truck. In fact, that truck Jay's in won the first truck race at Phoenix in February of 1995. They thought about making a shock change before qualifying, decided not to. That turned out to be a mistake. He qualified 21st. But I just talked to his crew chief, Joe Shears, and he says his truck is coming through the front, and that truck was ticketed for a museum until Mike Skinner had a big wreck at Homestead at the season opener last year, and Richard Childress had to bring it back in action.
Shear, by the way, is a new crew chief. We'll talk more about that a little later. Perhaps right now we've got a terrific battle for third. Nemechek hanging on to it. Ruttman is all over him. And Ruttman said one of the keys to this racetrack is right there. You got to get the truck in wide and then apex the corner, then be able to get the gas back on quickly to run wide open through here, and that's scary.
It is wide open to the trying to do it. Here's Ruttman on the inside. That camera's telling us just how close that he is to the back of Nemechek.
Well, getting a pretty good look out the back as Ruttman challenges him. Ruttman got from 16th to 4th quickly, now has stuck there behind Nemechek. And behind him, Michael Walker, 16th to 5th spot. No, that's not Michael's initials on the privilege. That's AW Windows, his sponsor.
Given the black flag by the NASCAR officials, everything is dragging people to the level system around the racetrack. Ruttman probably on the inside now. Michael Walker getting a battle on the inside, a challenge on the inside.
Kenny Irwin Jr. was making that move, and also back there trying to get into that fray, I believe is Dipper. Those guys hoping to close in positions. Michael Dockett deserves a call, as you see there, he is 6th.
That was Dockett who went by Michael Walker.
Dockett in position, moving up to 5th.
And then Dockett was driving the Dana Dodge. Kurt Roy-Schmidt team in 1997. Folks, I'm telling you, from beginning to end, great race car drivers, great trucks. Chuck Bound trying to get by Barfield. That's Bound in 99 and Barfield in 94. And those two are side by side.
That is not one of the places where the drivers told you they'd like to look side by side and make a pass, but it worked out very well for Bound. In that Roush Racing number 99 Ford.
Red and white truck on the outside. That was the Rookie of the Year in the 1996 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
We get back to the 14-99 battle position, which is 13 and 14.
Chuck down on the inside of battery truck.
Let's go ahead and pitch out the corner. That much already. Losing ground to Bound. And now to Markham as number 13 is moved by as well.
The white truck you can see behind these David Zinders.
Barfield driving for Bill Elliott says, I don't want to give up that position. Barfield takes it back.
Barfield comes along with it.
this year. The QBC efforts are all focused on Jeff Bodine's Winston Cup car. So Resendez, who has been both a crew chief and a driver, and last year won 2 races in this series. It's all white, no sponsor. Probably 16th as he works on the rear deck of Barfield.
Baker's in his started in the right spot, so obviously moving forward.
Jack Sprague has opened up a healthy advantage over Ron Hornaday and the rest of the field. We're at Orlando, Florida, where it's warming up. Stay with us. Battle crawl. This is a position fight from, let's see, this would be 7th on back. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, however far you want to measure it. The black 3 making the move there is Jay Sauter. That's going to get him close to the top 10. Terrific competition behind the leader, Jack Sprague. Meanwhile, more on the Kelly Denton story from trackside.
Yeah, guys, they think originally it was a missing spark plug, but they checked the wires now. Now they're heading for the alternator because the battery is discharging. So this is going to be an extended stop. It's going to cost Kelly Denton a lot of laps.
Kelly Denton burst on the scene big time last year in ARCA and got a lot of screen time on ESPN.
He certainly did. Just a young man, 23 years old. His brother Ron. Taylor's one in North Carolina. He racing fans. Taylor is.
Nemechek, the leader of this pack, has backed up a little bit. His number 87 is now fully in the grasp of the 17 of Rich Bickle. Chevy Trucks here as you look for Bickle. Now 6th place truck, and again they are at the head of the field with an advantage of position about 10 spots back. Good scrap.
Best of sport. Bickle, and Bickle's going to look on the inside.
Joe had it hooked up pretty well early, but now it looks like the nails may be going away. Bickle will move by. Nice shot.
Trying to move by. Nemechek is not going to let go because there's another one right there. We saw the Chevy come in. Joe, don't turn left because they're on the inside.
And Dockett will be next in line in the blue truck down on the inside.
And Dockett right in there. Right just a moment ago. He and Nemechek are battling and
And now give Rick Corelli a call. Number 6 into 7th position.
And Jay Sauter dives in there. It's a tree truck alongside Nemechek. We get on the outside and positions can go away. There comes Bickle. He says, get out of the way. I'm on the inside. Nemechek tries to knock him out of the way so he gets to the inside. And, well, don't do it. I'm telling you, that's it.
As they said, a pretty mild mannered guy, but they can't do that to you, Nemechek. And he gets the spot.
Am I calling Rich Petty?
Yeah, I think you did. I
Okay,
think you did.
it is Jimmy Hensley and Richard Petty's Cummins Dodge. Hey, finally got to the inside. That boy, Joe.
A lot of teams and drivers, a lot of familiar names and faces. H-outs this year. Who's going to be the first call? Jay Sauter, Mike Skinner, as he moves up to the ninth position. There it is.
Resendez continues to move forward in that number 7 Jeff Bodine truck. He's on the back tailgate of Nemechek. Started 28th. About 36. Position in battle for 11th.
So Nemechek falling out of the top 10 after contending for the lead early on. That's a visit from Resendez, the Massachusetts former NASCAR modified star. Resendez, of course, won the series opener a year ago, also here in Florida, different racetrack, further south, down at Homestead, 10 won the race.
Turning left and accelerate. Has position.
Possible and perhaps to intimidate a little bit, but it's not intimidating at all. that side all the way around. Chuck Dempsey hoping that the second drive by, and we'll get on with this. And the number 29 of Keselowski will be next in line. Then
Great battle. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 for all the big wad. Whoa! That time Resendez moved over, got him a little bit better run to the corner, but it didn't help.
I think Nemechek has found his spot now. He's leveled off at 11th spot. He's trying mighty hard to get back to that position.
Because he knows right now if he just backs up and let these guys go by, there's 2 other trucks going by.
Now it looked like he had to make it 3 wide. Resendez gets a truck length in front, and now we'll go on. Rather quickly from Nemechek once he got past him. Trucks for the entire year. One of them will be the 99 of Bound, the other the number 8 of Russell, who is now the second place trucker.
Up. Dig. Good job.
I don't think that they...
Caution's out.
Caution is out. I don't think that either one of them hit anything very hard.
Bound getting back into gear and back underway. Caution flag flying very close to the window in which they would have thrown the competition caution, the yellow flag to enable the trucks to refuel. We'll see if we can get another look at how this happened. Bound, of course, had just worked his way under Nemechek.
Never see they've already gone in the corner and made their contact and spun out, or I say they made their contact. It looks that way, I'm assuming.
I don't think Joe touched that wall up there.
I don't think either one of them hit anything.
Flat spotted tires should be the extent of the damage here. And of course, that's one of the rules in the Truck Series. You're given only 2 sets of tires. You change at the mid-race break unless you cut or flat spot a tire, in which case you are allowed to make a change. And this will be the fuel stop. So the field will come out of pit road to top off the trucks. Jack Sprague will give up a 4.5 second lead, which fulfills the worst fears of some people. We'll talk more about that, but first let's get down trackside to Bill Weber. Standing by for the fuel stops there. Ruttman was the first truck to come to a stop. Sprague a little further down. Bill Weber.
Okay, Dave, the LCI Ford of Joe Ruttman is here. He's a little tight, exit only, but they're not of his head at all. No wedge adjustment at this point, so the 280 is going to take the fuel only. Sitting on pit road now. We need to make sure they pump it off. Down pit road, 20 Reed.
Yeah, guys, with Ron Horner there, got some air out of the right side tire. You check out Jack Sprague's truck right behind him. Hornaday gets back out. They did the same thing, took a little pressure out and changed a little bit of the tape on the front end. Otherwise, no changes.
Jack Sprague loves mile racetracks, and as he alluded to, he hinted at in the pre-race interview, always seems to do well when he's sick. He's feeling a little under the weather yesterday when he won the pole, so he felt bad, but he felt good this morning, and he woke up feeling much better.
And we saw one of the Roush Stewart putting some tape on the grill of the 80 truck, the LCI truck. That will help the pushing problem off the corner. A little more downforce and help the truck handle a bit better.
He's come from 16th to 2nd. They have hardly half of that. We be blimping here as the Craftsman Truck Series opens at Walt Disney World Speedway. The overhead shots coming from the Goodyear One Stars and Stripes captain Jim Maloney from Vienna, Virginia. Hit the gondola there. They're helping our crew provide the pictures as we come back to a green flag. 1997 Series opener. No change up front. in fourth spot. Truck number 1 reported a little loose before that stop. Thought it was coming position. John Nemechek on the inside on the car. And does some damage to the shootout Chevy. We're back on the road.
Yes, we did have a caution flag. I thought maybe that we would.
Hard to make out the radio traffic. Joe trying to take advantage of John's misfortune there. This was a black flag penalty for the 99 of bound. A violation of the rules.
The 8 truck makes some contact with Lance Norick in the 90, because if we keep this camera right there in just a moment, the 90 car truck is going to go by dragging the rear tailgate. There he is.
Over on the escape route in the turn 2 area.
That is Lance Norick, whose dad is the mayor of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
That's all the information you want to know about Lance Norick right there.
You got it. Not serious damage. They're taking another look at how this developed.
No, I guess he was on the inside of Rick Crawford and just simply tried to come off the corner, and in the outside wall, he will come across, and I guess here's where he gets the, Lance Norick gets the tailgate knocked off, and some contact with the inside wall from John Nemechek.
There was a moment there when Big John thought he had her saved. That was not the moment.
There's John surveying the damage, trying to figure out if he can get back in the race.
Well, tough day for the Nemechek brothers. They bring out 2 consecutive yellows. We'll be right back. You got a favorite out of the winter games?
I'm not a winter person at all. Not at all. I don't like that snow and ice.
You going to pass on shovel racing?
Yes, I am going to pass.
I had you pegged for that. I thought that'd be pretty cool watching you do that. Let's give a quick call to Boris Said. Boris qualified badly here. It worked his way up to 21st spot. Spun under the previous caution, or just prior to the previous caution for Nemechek, and fell back to 26th spot. Boris has now come down pit road and has a little damage on the front of the truck, but he's going to try to salvage something out of that. That, of course, is Ernie Irvin's truck. He's the 3rd different guy to drive it in 3 years.
Ernie and Mark Sino. There's the driver, Boris Said.
Big, tall guy, goatee beard, road racing star, adapting to the ovals. And he says, watch out. We get Sears Point, Watkins Glen, bad cat. Chuck Bound at the back after a stop-and-go penalty because he gained positions under yellow. Let's see, are still under caution.
Let's see if he did. Now, this is on the green flag racing. When he spun, he and Joe Nemechek spun. Oh, yeah, just a little time.
I'd say so. We didn't see that contact from the camera up high, but it was pretty evident right there. This is the Barfield's camera. Same thing.
Barfield was going to the grass.
And gave the gas on pretty hard.
Yes.
He made a nice evasive move there.
So the Chevy Pace truck comes off the racetrack and says, okay, fellas, in just a couple of seconds, we're going to see some more of this action.
Comes off at lap 53. Victory in this race.
So you need to check those fresh tires. Now there's 3 more trucks. If they can pass that, so the caution will have quick break come out. He'll be back in the lead lap.
Spot in the lap down for Joe. John appears to be out of the race. That truck was badly damaged. Rutman. It's a good side-by-side battle. The Descendants going down the inside of the top and taking 11th spot away.
Record goes by docking as well. That's the 66, the red and white truck. Gets by on the day. Just 2 more now to get by.
But again, the key to that is that it's time. Think of a battle, man. I'll tell you, I'm trying to keep chopped across the bow of the Zendis. He's got number 65, Kenny Allen, in tow there. As Bliss tries to work his way forward. He started 25th.
Mike Bliss on board with Mike.
Boy, he was frustrated yesterday. That was a top 5 truck. For the moment they took it off the trail. Battle for the lead.
Joe Rutland, since Friday, has been a man on a mission. Every time he goes on the racetrack, he went on the racetrack in practice, he looked like he was trying as hard as he possibly could. He looked like he was qualifying every lap. I said, ask Jack Roush this morning, what's got into Joe Rutland? He just smiled.
He's, of course, the owner, and he likes Rutland. Well, there's a lot to like. He's always got a moment for the fans, and he's always got something interesting to say. I asked him about those quick times he was turning in practice. He was laughing and said, oh, that's just time. Everybody knows
You see right now that Rutland was not exactly right. He pushed off turn 1, allowed Sprague to get a car length or 2 lead. Sprague pull that half a car length ahead.
While having led all but 1 lap here today, is doing what many people expected and some people feared. There was a concern that old one-track Jack might adapt to this place very, very nicely and just blow this field away. Marched off to a 4-second lead before that car.
Well, the track, Sprague nickname right after one-track Jack was 1 Mile Jack. And again, this is a 1 mile race. Love the super speedways that these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series run on.
I'll tell you what, with all the horsepower lined up behind Jack Sprague this year, we may be calling him champion before this deal is done. He and Hornaday certainly are. Just to update Hornaday's progress, this goes back to 3rd. Rutland got by him a good while ago. Working their way through.
Slow down the backstretch and
It's back to 18 to 16 miles, maybe 21.
Well, a couple of things. Take a look at the front end. He's got an aerodynamic problem, and they're saying that the truck is pushing badly. Then they let some air out of the tires during the break, and nothing's helped, and the thing is just a handful.
Figure out why that happened.
more damage to the front.
Caution, turn 1. Turn 3, Mike. Be careful.
Like the yellow back out.
And Michael Waltz respond down in turn 3.
Simon spins at opposite ends of the speedway, goes back under caution. And it has been an incident-marred event. None of them. Let's go back and recap the history of Michael Docker. Now, this is before the incident you just saw live, and this was moments before. This is what Marty was reporting on. Close call and a bit of damage as a result of that.
That's Lonnie Rush in the 35, the ortho truck. Now, that's when I saw him slow on the racetrack. I thought he had a cylinder missing or something because he had slowed dramatically.
Dropped back to 18th. Marty Reed reported on what happened. Comes up alongside Boris Sled and clunk. And around they both go.
He tried to save it, but they couldn't, and they spun.
Was that McDonald, I think, that shot the gap in the middle there.
0. There we see what the
Kirk on the bottom.
Joe goes by down pit road.
Doc, and we'll take one more look at how this happened. Now, the damage on the right in front of the 44 set is from the earlier spin.
There's some contact, and they both spin. And there was Lance Norrick. You know, Paul Norrick has been in the middle of everything.
He's had a pretty good view of the action. And of course, while this was all going on, that big cloud of smoke at the other end of the speedway resulted from this spin by Michael Walton.
Then we see the 17 Rich Bickle. And look, that's Hornaday that goes around. The defending champion. That's where all the smoke came from. And poor Michael goes in there with nowhere to go. What's going on? He don't know what's going on. So he spins somewhere in there.
Hornaday, the victim of a turn 3 loop here, and that will drop him from third spot. I never did see Michael.
I never did either. What's the mystery?
The mystery spin.
We had enough spin, Betty, in that 10 seconds.
Never mind about Michael Walton. Okay. Docket is in for repairs. The champ has looped and is out of the top 5. We'll be back.
See the hat on that guy.
Tested yesterday afternoon.
Wow. Trucks are lining up for a restart. Leaving check on the inside. Trying to get that lap back. It's done. And yes, flag.
Goes back on the lead lap and looking for a car. Trouble for the reigning series champion, 16, Ron Hornaday.
Well, guys, they're getting ready to bring him in if they have to. He is reporting that he thinks the right rear is going down. You see the tire changing, they're putting pressure and checking that. So we'll keep you posted if he comes down pit lane.
Saw Markham go high, go low. I think part of that was looking to get around Hornaday, and the other half was hoping that he could run. That Hornaday truck turned around. He saw the pit crew waiting. The series champion, Ron Hornaday, has slipped all the way to 14. Shortly.
Well, there's another position going to the wayside as Butch Miller in the 20 truck pulls the outside this truck. Walton decided not to drive this year, turned the drive over to Butch Miller. And they've also switched from the Dodges to Fords. There's Tony Roper in
tried to knock down the wall on the second lap. He had to start at the back of the field. Whoa, swapping second spot. Bickle gets around right. Number 17 has come to life. Here's Bickle on the radio, takes a spot away, and that will drop Rucker back to third. The first got quarter score. The kid started in the back row. He has come to 19th spot, and that young man with the all-pro ranks. A lot of people are going to notice him today, man, but he's making a big stride for a truck star this year. That was quite a performance.
He said, "Keep well, Leroy." That's Leroy Walton. Michael and Daryl's father back in Owensboro had some surgery. And Leroy, we echo that statement. That get well soon. There's Rick from
Let me add also a kid's doing a great job of bringing the on-board today.
Leroy's not liking this, but on the baby boy line, Zimbis goes foul outside. Let's just put it back up.
For having brought us the most spectacular on-road history. Mark over the truck series that last year.
Zimbis goes by Sauter and Michael Walker. Now they're working the same thing. Leroy likes that.
6, 7, 8 position, definitely. Rounds at the moment. Some good side-by-side racing. Funny how much room they find between qualifying and the race. Then you ask them on Saturday, oh, it's narrow, there's no place to pass. Middle of Sunday afternoon, they're out there side-by-side beating on each other.
Roper is making stop on pit road. He's stopping on pit road, I should say. It's Jimmy Hickson and Nick Cummings Dodge. They got Ted White in the back bumper of Jay Sauter. So Bliss has been able to get by. He's back in the lane.
Dodge folks have not won in NASCAR racing since 77. They're offering a brand new $40,000 pickup. Their first Dodge driver. Half a lap behind the leader, as you can see. Jack Sprague jumping down the back stretch all by himself. All the one lap here.
About that.
Chevy has just marched past Jack Sprague to take the lead. Now Joe Ruttman joins the fray to make that a three-driver battle. Let's take a look first of all at how the pass for the lead occurred.
Went off turn 2. Sprague left the racetrack. Bickle keeps everything right on the bottom. Gets position when he got the turn 2. He takes the back stretch. Jack Sprague says, "Go ahead, be a hero," and he was. Took the lead, did Bickle, and has led for a couple of laps now.
As Ruttman came up to join that battle, moments thereafter, they lapped the series champ Ron Hornaday. There's a look at Hornaday right in front as he has an apparent tire problem. That was the indication of concern. Look how out of shape Hornaday got as the leaders came around.
Oh, here we go. Sprague is back in front. Now this is live action. Sprague has been taking the lead, but guess what? He's back a loser again.
Side by side. For the lead on lap 87, approaching the lead. And 100 laps to go. Will fly for a 5-minute race. Gear up to another 100-mile shootout. You can't get much better than this. Jack Sprague, who had led all the way prior to the pick up along the scene, suddenly has his hands they continue, and the leaders are still side by side.
Because you don't know which corner to watch.
Three times last year in a different truck. In 19 races that he has been out front. He's probably smiling big time.
And there goes Bickle again. He's there to sit down.
Big smile, big smile. No. He doesn't know we're watching him.
Kelly Denton got the truck sideways as he was trying to get behind Joe Rudman, and I thought
great battle with Sprague. He has not led as yet, or they've been close.
once again was a lap down in the Bell South truck. Past these guys, and is now about Jay Shaw. That's pushing him right up to about the 7th spot.
A roller coaster ride goes zipping by to take that position away from inside. Which didn't qualify all that well. Fix the truck. They do not have a backup. And he has now marched into 6th position. This is for 2nd spot now as Bickle about 5 truck lengths, and Jack Sprague starts racing in his mirror.
Jack Sprague was concerned about tire. He said that his tires were wearing on the right side. So maybe Sprague had just simply backed off and trying to see what the wear was going to be like at the halfway break. Something that the guys were going to check and see if there is a problem with the wear on the 24. The other guy said they have not seen it.
In that Ford versus Chevy battle, Joe Rudman just marches by Jack Sprague. He's definitely sitting on the boots.
Yeah, it looks like Kelly Denton.
Michael Walker inside wall along the front straightaway. Up front for the 2nd time today. Walker involved.
He started with the right front. He made some serious damage. Contact with the outside. Looks like the right front tire might have gone away and hit the outside wall, and then his truck came down and hit the inside wall. And we see it has knocked an oil line or a fuel line off and on fire under it. Let's see Michael crawling out, but very slowly, yes.
Well, another mixed bag for the brothers here because as Bickle leads driving Darrell's truck, Michael is out after a pretty good sized wreck there. Let's see how this happened.
Goes down the corner. We see the right front just go away in the wall. Yeah, oh no, folks, you can't imagine. It almost got clobbered from behind as Bartholomew, and another solid blow on the inside wall. So
hit hard enough to put fire out. That's pretty good look. He's run one other truck race, that a 4th place finish in Vegas. Take a look at this hit.
brutal hit, straight in the wall.
It's an ugly angle of attack. But Michael appeared to be okay. Climbed out under his own power, a little shaken.
And no air in his body. When you hit a wall like that, you just lose all the air inside. Never see Darrell Walter walk down and you doing all right, bud? Yeah.
Darrell tells a heart-rending story of an incredible wreck at Bristol when Michael hit the wall so hard and said, looked down in that cockpit knowing what he was going to see, and little brother looked up and said, "Hi, Darrell." He's okay again today. The crew a little unhappy. A lot of damage to fix there. We'll take a break and be back with more. Has developed an apparent tire problem that has dropped him a lap down here. Now third on the field. He held on, hoping that he could at least stay on the same lap until the halftime break. Failed to do that. And now, as we're just a couple of laps away champion does not have a big smile on his face.
Joe Nemechek, as we have chronicled, is now on the lead lap. He had passed those fellas. Michael Waltrip had his problem. The caution came out. He's able to go to the back of the field now. Tail end of the race. Now in 19th spot. And we're going green for just a couple of laps, and then we'll stop for a midway point because they need to get to the midway point. We start lap 99.
Not the master of restarts here today. Sprague's back there with Sprague. Ruppin can't maintain the pace of Bimble as they approach halfway.
Red flag and trucks will go, and they have a 5-inch race with 6 big flags. Joe Ruppin and Jack Sprague really looking forward, and Ron Hornaday looking forward to this break. Because Ron Hornaday has lost a lap in his first lap. That's something he didn't do all last year. He didn't do that during when he had a flat tire.
The championship, the yellow is out during the mid-race break. We will take a quick commercial break, come back, and Marty and Bill to work down on pit road. Stay with us. The green has just got start the second one, the second 99 laps, to decide the championship here.
Once again, Ruppin as he came off turn 2. He's up the racetrack. Not able to make that run, but he's on the inside now. And make a run for him.
Ruppin by on the inside, puts a four down front for the first time today. Meanwhile, Sprague moves up to the top of the left rear of Bimble, and he's into second spot. Bimble, last 15 laps of the first leg. Quickly goes back to third. Well, a big shuffle of positions in the first couple of laps after the halftime break. Obviously, Ruppin's bunch did good work around racing, and Sprague said he might take it easy and save the tires. So much for up there.
But he might take it easy. He may be winning. The real key is what's going to happen in a few laps. After that, his truck started drifting back. We'll see what happens. Mike Bliss on the inside of Kenny Hendricks.
There's a lot of guys. Bliss moves under, and he doesn't want to let that black 3 truck that won the inaugural championship with Skinner get away. Sprague is around Ruppin to take over.
The 7 truck. Fourth spot.
I got hit by Kenny Irwin. Three trucks did it, Mike.
Yeah, crew chief Don Dodson and driver Bliss.
Made the contact, and there we see Bliss.
Back to the left side, the left quarter panel's pushed up pretty good. Spoiler's pushed all the way up.
Chevy Trucks telling Barry Dodson what kind of problem he has.
Mike thought it was his old open wheel rival Kenny Irwin Jr. that made the contact. Dodson said, if I understand correctly.
Let's don't force it. Let's don't force it. We got Hornaday trying to get a lap back.
The green has just gone here. Ron Hornaday pushed up on the front of the race leader Jack Sprague, and that's the battle as they head for turn 3. Hornaday trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Sprague trying to put him back down.
Back end is pretty happy on that 16 truck, and look at that.
Behind him. Now Sprague gets down on the inside. No, nothing there yet. Sprague, the race leader. We heard Jack say in the break that he was trying to conserve the tires in the second half. Last year on the big tracks, he is challenging
Coming true. The Hornaday's going to try to come back. All out Earnhardt.
It's not there this time. Ruttman sitting back there looking this over, contemplating his own strategy. Because Bickle will be there to make up the mind. Let's finish the Michael Waltrip story as we're going to go right.
And first of all, you're all right.
Yeah, I certainly feel like I've hit something pretty hard, and looking at the truck, that's the case, but we'll be okay.
Any idea what happened?
I know exactly what happened. It was dumb on my part. When I spun out at flat spot in the tire, I felt it shaking. I should have pitted, and I didn't, which was stupid, but I guess not knowing the rules, I didn't know how many laps they'd put me behind or whatever for changing tires, and I stayed out. Probably cost me about 50 grand, but the lesson, as they say.
Okay, Leroy, your boy's okay.
Michael Waltrip crashing out of the race. Consider that Ron Hornaday had exactly the same problem, did elect to stay out.
But look at Bickle. The leader at the halfway is dropping back. Butch Miller, the 20 truck, has gone by. Fifth spot. Look, Bickle back to about 5th or 6th.
Bickle said the truck was tight, but the big that way. And apparently that was not the correct decision. Hornaday, determined to get that lap back, continues to harass the race leader Sprague. Ruttman looking on. Resendiz coming on. Resendiz is up to 7th. Third now. Well, the big one, but Hornaday gets that lap back. Boy, he was so frustrated to have to sit back there and watch those positions go by, follow a lap down. That is a pass for 10th spot as Pirelli is on. Pirelli will be inside the top 10.
the stretch, a critical factor. He's saving his now, so he's got him later.
Nickel going in front of Hornaday. Now Jimmy Hensley is there in the 43. The 97 goes off to a very rocky start.
John Monson is down to 14 famous 16 and not the Chevrolet. But Doug Williams is still there. It's not like the he decided to stay home. Oh, that great
I'm not going to give up another position to this kid early. So he darts in front of the left side. Took himself in the range of hope, I guess. Although right now the prospects of being able to get frustrated. March up the front straightaway.
Mercedes at 197 is coming.
This is the other side, of course, of the Tammy Jo Kirk story. If you just joined us, this is the second drive of the hand. He's had that one really plugged the wall. But now his teammate Mercedes is inside the top three and working on Joe Ruttman. We'll take a break. We'll come back to more of this Chevy Ford battle.
There goes Mercedes. Baby dog.
We're back in Orlando. You're on board the blimp. You may notice the white truck is out front. Our thanks to the Goodyear blimp, giving us the nice shot of the new race leader, Dave Rezendes, in front of the number 24 of Jack Sprague. As the Stars and Stripes look on from overhead, Rezendes is just having a terrific run here in the second half, Benny.
And he's been down the front stretch and giving back to Sprague.
Sprague's strategy to conserve tires has certainly, well, at least it's not apparent here. And the guys who have caused the difficulty for him, first Hornaday, his left back, now Rezendes, who wants to win the race, and for the second year in a row, kick off his campaign with victory. He won last year at Homestead for the season opener.
Rezendes much love these Florida tracks. As they come down the home stretch, once again, Rezendes is running a completely different line than is Sprague. And it seems to really be working for him.
I mentioned it's a Chevy. Chevy at the moment. Add to Rezendes' credentials last year, Nashville and Sears Point. Ruttman now sitting in the third spot as the lead trio continue to try to pull away. Butch Miller sitting in the fourth position. Then comes Baker in fifth. A lap down as a result of his tire troubles. The race sixth is Jimmy Hensley at 33. That's the top half dozen trucks. I think that's Kenny Davis Jr. talking about there in the seventh spot. What they had a shot at him, then he couldn't hang on to the tail end of the lead lap. Using up the tires as I'll loosen it up a little. I'm sorry. Yep. Vegas is a mile and a half to The Chevy Trucks Challenge at Orlando Bad has gotten worse. Ron Hornaday has hit the wall, climbed out of the truck, and then in obvious pain falls to the ground, and the medical personnel are moving to the scene. This happening just moments ago before we came out of the commercial. Let's take a look at what happened to number 16.
That's Toby Butler in the 34 truck, and they're going into corner 3 abreast. And he makes contact, Warner gives up and slams the wall with the right side.
Comes back down really hard, and you'll see when he climbs out of the truck that he is in extreme pain.
You see him taking his belts off. Let's look at one more angle. We're going to see that Hornaday is going in the corner 3 abreast. You know, it's a struggle for 2, and hit the wall awfully hard.
Hitting full flush on the passenger side, then back down into the infield. Hornaday being tended to by the medical crew. He's hustling to get out of that thing, getting the belts loose and so forth. But boy, once he came out of the window net, he hit the deck in a hurry, and he was holding his side like he might have taken a whack to the ribs.
I mean, it looks like Hornaday is up.
He's
now.
up. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, was it 44 races in a row without failing to finish? Hornaday's string is broken here. The man who won the championship for Dale Earnhardt and Teresa Earnhardt in 1996 is off to a very rocky start in 97. He's walking away. We'll take a break and come back with more from Orlando. From Walt Disney World Speedway, the LPGA tournament is underway. The Health South inaugural going in today. Kari Webb and Michelle McGann were tied. That has changed rather dramatically, actually. Michelle has lost 3 strokes here to Kari, who continues to lead 6 under, final round play, and we will be going from here to there immediately after the conclusion of the race. LPGA Golf is next on ESPN from right here in the Magic Kingdom. Let's take a look at your entire field. Scoring is now functional again, so this should be accurate. Bound and Nemechek are indeed on the lead lap. And as you take a look, you'll note starting positions on the right. So impressive runs for both Ruttman and Resendiz, who have come from the pack to challenge the pole sitter Sprague. Sprague led over half the laps in each of the last 2 races of last year, one of both, Phoenix and Las Vegas. Again, I'm very impressed with Toby Porter and the job he's done. Qualified 4th, crashed in qualifying, started from the back, and has come back to 18th spot. Tough luck for a lot of drivers here today, including most recently the reigning series champ Ron Hornaday, who crashed after going 3 wide in turn 3, and Bill Weber has the latest on that story.
Well, Ron's in the medical center right now. I just talked to his new crew chief, John Munson. He says Ron feels okay, suspects he may have a broken or fractured rib. They're going to check that out. Said there was some confusion in traffic about a truck that apparently waved that it was going to pit, but then did not. And the last thing Ron said to John was, go fix that truck because we're not done racing today.
Hornaday, of course, thinking in terms of points and the championship. He's fortunate that he'll have until the first weekend in March to heal up. That is the main race for the Truck Series. It'll be on ESPN in Tucson. Chris Morgan throws the green. We're back out on lap 142.
Back in second spot. It's taking 5 laps from Resendiz.
Resendiz the white second of the race. The Jumbo team. Now Boyd in third as Sprague continues to be the dominant truck in terms of laps led. He's been passed 3 times on the racetrack.
Right for 78 laps. The dominant truck on the track. Can it keep it together for 100 laps in this half? That's the question. It's going to take some time to find out.
Tires wearing out at the game the first time around. Here's Sauter being challenged by Irwin. A terrific battle. In the thick of that is number 66, Ruffner, last year's Rookie of the Year. We have 10 rookies in the show here this afternoon. And this battle is right from the left.
Joe Ruttman, the precision, onboard camera.
And the real 3-truck battle for the lead. Trouble. Tammy Jo Kirk has spun and crashed, and also involved is the number 32 of Kenny Hendrick. That's Hendrick who backed into the outside wall. He was already a lap down. Also, Kirk was involved in that big incident early in his far downfield. We'll take a quick break here as Tammy Jo hustles back to the pits for yet more repairs. Green at Walt Disney Speedway just 1 lap ago. Jack Sprague getting the jump on Joe Ruttman. And number 7 is on back in the pack. Rich Bickle having had it pretty good there with Jimmy Hensley in positions grab. But these are the 3 drivers that appear to be the class of the field here, Benny, and continuing to have some question about Sprague and the performance of his truck. They did a lot of work on it there during that quick break.
That's what it looked like. They were straining the front end to see if the towing was off. Not having truck. I think maybe wherever sees all the trucks go by and come up in that white new truck, might have been position. Dan Press is still out there. There's Lonnie Rush in the 35, the green and yellow one. And Tammy Jo.
Today after that initial crash, but soldiers on in the Jeff Bodine machine. Here is your leader, Jack Sprague. Tires off in the first half and slipped to third at the break, but now has come back strong to dominate the second half as he did in the first in terms of laps led. Redmond
great point. The diehard truck Pirelli and Butch Miller.
Pirelli, of course, doing the same across the Butch Miller came right with him in the 5th spot. Tinsley at 43 and Sargent at 1st time in Truck Series history that the same driver has won 3 in a row on the Super Speedway. He likes the big Connor speaking there to your tire wear and strategy. Hey, what are you going to do? We're going to do
exactly what I was going to say, but that shot has gone away. You see Rich Bickle now backed up and Kenny Irvin has gone by.
This is going to be 7th, 8th, 9th, and now Bickle at the tail end of the top 2.
What they're hoping is that Joe can rope in the leader, but he does have a little bit of a handling problem, a little bit of but his crew told me it's no different than anybody else is fighting out there. They have the challenge in the closing laps.
And perhaps significantly, they are pulling away from resentment, so it's winding down here. We're at 159. We'll take a break and come back with more from Orlando. crafting trucks are, for the moment, Sprague and Ruttman. And of those two, let's give Sprague the nod because Ruttman is certainly not putting any pressure on him right now.
He lost a couple of spots, and the defense is just trying to keep the reins on the guy, hold him back. You look at the rearview mirror, and the guy's 3 or 4 car lengths behind you. You know, the option is to try to get away from him. That realize they got it. The crew realizes that he has a tire problem. They've got to keep those tires on.
And of course, what Dennis Conner, the crew chief, recalls is that in the first half, Sprague ran away to a 4.5-second lead, only to see it evaporate when the tires were wore out. And he has lost a position now. Marty can update that story.
Dave, I got it for you. Butch Miller's had one of those roller coaster days you were talking about. And it started yesterday when he crashed. If you remember earlier, we thought he had a dropped cylinder. That's what they thought too. There was a bad plug wire. They fixed that. Butch fell all the way to the back of the field. Now he's climbed his way right back up into the front. So a really good day, but they're doing it the hard way in the 20 truck.
All right, Bill Weber, appreciate the hustle on that one. That is Butch Miller sitting in fifth spot. Rick Corelli leads the sponsorship on that truck. That is Michael Gaughan's organization out of Las Vegas and a longtime supporter of Walker Evans and his off-road racing efforts. Now moving over here to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. As he goes chasing after Corelli, you see them moving more. Long weekend has come to naught here. He's now 16 laps down after clouding the wall.
Good run for Butch Miller.
Look up at a new team, you want to do well. The thing that impresses me is the stick-to-itiveness of that organization this weekend. They didn't have a whole lot in the truck when they showed up. They didn't have a backup in practice. So.
Oh, some trouble right in front of the leader. But the 12 car does George some contact between he and the leader of the race. George spins, does a 360, and NASCAR will now throw the caution flag.
Impressive job by George to keep on trucking. When he opened his eyes, he was headed right straight down the racetrack and said, well, let's keep on blasting here. But I'll tell you what, it was a scary moment for the front runners. Let's take another look at it.
There you see the 24 of Sprague come off the corner. He goes up and just runs in the back of this 12 truck, spins him, and around he goes. Wow. That was close. And you're right, George did a terrific job. Did a 360. And just kept on ticking. That's Bob Blake, the carpenter guy's truck at 12. EQ Wheels, a sponsor on it.
Got a 3-race deal, and they were hoping that he might re-up for some additional races. I would say Doug demonstrated his driving ability right there. He deserves a couple more rides in that thing, I think.
And I think one reason NASCAR threw the yellow flag, as we see Morgan holding, Chris Morgan, the flagman holding the flag, I think is because Joe Ruttman and all that smoke simply stopped to try to avoid the crash, and the 24, who caused the accident to begin with, simply got a one straightaway lead on Joe Ruttman. So NASCAR said, well, that's not quite right for him to end up with such a big lead. Let's throw the caution flag, and he'll have a 2 truck length lead when they throw the green.
You saw Randy McDonald coming to pit road in the Zero truck, the former Canadian champion. Alrighty, they're under yellow here for a record-tying 11th time today. As bunch the field up behind the Chevrolet Pace truck, Jack Sprague just right straight into the back of Doug George. There was no doubt about that. Space Mountain, one of the many attractions that millions of tourists every year here to the Disney Empire, just across the way from Walt Disney World Speedway, inside the gates of the Magic Kingdom. But I'll tell you what, these snowbirds who came south for this race are finally getting what they came for. The jackets are starting to come on among that big crowd. Let's get down to Marguerite and more on Sprague's situation.
I got a smile on my face because that man right there is Dennis Conner, the crew chief. I went up to him and said, well, are you pacing him pretty good? He goes, no, he's running 29s. I need him to run 30s. He says, thank goodness for the yellow. It may cool it down. Bill Weber, what do you got?
Down here in Joe Ruttman's pit, about 30 to go now, and
Randy Goss, who's his new crew chief, told me that basically there's a real fine line between who's using up their tires and who is not. They don't think they are. They're hoping Sprague is. Randy believes in the last 15 laps, you'll find out.
Kind of an old reunion here for the motorcycle crowd. Tammy Jo Kirk was a motorcycle racer. Randy Goss is the former AMA Grand National Dirt Track Motorcycle Champion, and now hoping to bring his truck home with a win here today. Let's take another look in real time at the incident that brought out this yellow. Real time means real fast.
Yeah. Once again, the leader of the race, Jack Sprague, just made contact with Doug George, and around he goes. Now, we're going to have a restart, and Joe Rutten in the 80 truck is going to be right on the back bumper of the leader.
We've certainly enjoyed the shots we've seen from the blimp. There is no place more interesting to look at those Goodyear Stars and Stripes blimp pictures than here at the Walt Disney Kingdom, where there's so much to see, so many attractions. We thank Captain Maloney and the crew. They've done a great job today in showing us the scene and this unique three-cornered racetrack with elevation changes, three very different corners. A racetrack on which a lot of people thought passing would be difficult. We've seen our share of passing today. We've seen a whole lot of crashing today. And before this thing is over, we may very well see a spectacular finish, because with just a bit more than 25 miles to go, getting back to green, we have Sprague, Ruttman, Resendiz, Corelli, and Miller all hooked up in the top 5 spots. Green is in the air.
7 laps to go. Car from nose to tail.
On the racetrack and accumulating laps. Meanwhile, the experience up front paying off.
And Corelli moves up right behind the 7. And Corelli takes a look at the 3rd spot.
He's
he got some trouble. Toby Porter.
Look what happened.
There's 3 or 4 trucks spun over there. I see 3. There's Boris Said in the 44, Toby Porter in the 10. Boris leading. And the caution flag does wave.
A new record for cautions on a super speedway racetrack for the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. That's the 12th of the day, and here's how it unfolded.
That's the Kenny Irwin on the inside of the 10 of Porter. He loses control. I didn't even see him spun over there. They lose control. I guess that was the other truck. I said Tree was there, and Tree were there, and we see Boris Said. That's Boris who comes down in the 44 and basically stops on pit road. Look as from our speed shot as he come off the corner. Then we see Kenny Irwin going around in the Robestus truck. He does a 360, gets it pointed in the right direction. Toby Porter's going to go up and make some contact with the outside retaining wall. It didn't look like it was too severe.
Big wide racetrack, but the racing groove itself is somewhat narrow. Here's what Sen saw as he arrived. Wow!
He got the nose off the ground, not no accident.
Kenny Irwin Jr., arguably the trigger for that, or at least involved in the initial contact with number 10 Porter that sent them both around and created the chaos behind them. Bob Jenkins will have winter heat later on today. Winston West action. It's the 97 Series opener. That's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern time, 35 minutes or so away from Tucson, Arizona. That's over on ESPN2. And coming up next, of course, on ESPN, as we mentioned earlier, the Health South inaugural final round golf from right here at Walt Disney World. Race running long. We'll rejoin golf, or we will join golf immediately following the conclusion of the race. Lonnie Rush has come down pit road. He's had a respectable run here. They're still on the lead lap and will stay there. He's going to rejoin before the caution truck comes around. He is in 16th spot. Lonnie's first appearance in the truck division, paying off in the top 20. Keep it together. Mike Bliss, on the other hand, tough day. Qualified badly, got wrecked, 18 laps down, 25th in the running order. Right in front of him, the remains of Chevy Trucks truck. Chevy Trucks laps. 17 laps now. Do something with him. What about Pirelli? Pirelli's been there, but not spectacular all day. Now he's coming on. Right up the hill when Pirelli arrived. Exactly what I had. Right now, the guy I want is the leader. Meanwhile, Resendiz in the white number 7 under attack for Butch Miller and the white number 20. That's for
Right now, he's not making it remarkable. He's doing that. He's got what happened when he came off the corner, wiggle a little bit.
Stuck right with him in the ensuing lap. Now you see Saltman in lap 3 up to 6th and Ruttman back by. So that may have been a flash in the pan. Whatever you say about the proceedings today, the top truck all day long.
About 10 laps at lap 91. They fall back to the second or third spot. And Rich Bickle led it halfway. Joe Rutten looks like he had the second best first today.
Strong, now he's backing up again. Let's see if we can get more on that today.
And Dave, after the drivers' meeting this morning, his crew chief, Rick Wren, was one of the many crew chiefs that were concerned about tires, but they're not concerned about this season. Season this year, they have all Hopkins chassis. They had a variety of different chassis last year. They've changed to Hutter engines. Everybody has a year experience. They are very optimistic this year, and they are really hoping that Rick Pirelli can show his stuff in 1997, and he may show it here.
Pirelli showed Ruttman some stuff there for a moment, but I have a feeling that the key paragraph Bill just delivered may be back up. Coming up next, we've got golf. If you're tuned in just now, this is the golf tournament. We will be going across the way, 3.5 miles to the Health South inaugural in a moment. Here's your position battle for
Resendiz is going to lose lots and lots of money. It looks like because he's on the outside. Resendiz spins up in the second corner.
goes Resendiz, and what a frustrating, I won't say end because he'll continue, but what a frustrating conclusion to his run in the lead.
And no yellow flag. What a tough break for Resendiz. The green still is on the racetrack.
They try to get this thing done, obviously, and Resendiz is going to pay for it. Ruttman 10 total lengths behind the leader. Jack Sprague's crew chief says, Jack says, I got to go fast because Ruttman's back there. Decided in 15 laps. This is precisely the point. Took the lead from Sprague in the first segment. There were 15 laps to go. Not precisely the same because the 7 laps. But Sprague's wearing out his tires. We're going to see the evidence of it real soon. Number 5. It's not good. He's out the 5
Resendiz truck.
Resendiz managed to gather things back up and continue.
You ever see Resendiz as he goes in the corner? That's Butch Miller on the inside. They saw him in the tree. And right there, some contact between the tree and himself. Butch Miller's been unable to keep that tree truck on the bottom all day. That twice they sent go up and clip someone down turn 1.
I saw the piece go flying off the front, but the yellow did not fly. Back with your lead battle as the laps begin to count down here. Sprague in the Chevrolet, Ruttman in the Ford. Two of the top teams from Winston Cup strutting their stuff here in the NASCAR Truck Series. Sprague's Ruttman's from Roush Racing. Eagles ever so slowly.
The 10 truck looks like they're coming. Smoking heavily.
Kenny Irwin after a spin, trying to get himself back inside the top 10. He's trying to shot 15. He's trying to work around Stacy Compton. He's kept his truck inside the top 20 all day. Stacy in the 86 is now 14th.
Don't think so because he's on the inside. Inside, but losing the back end of the corner as they say to go up the hill and make contact the other time. This time, Irwin was able to keep his truck under control and all the way from Stacy Compton. Troy Selberg is not good job on this 86 truck. Looks mock the owner.
Butch insisted yesterday that he is not officially the owner of that truck. He says, oh, we got trouble. Around and into the wall goes Brian Ruffner in the 66. Did a pretty good lick. We've got yellow again late as Ruffner involved in a major incident here.
Yes, heavy contact to the left rear of that truck.
Brian Ruffner, former ASA champion. Former ASA Rookie of the Year, moving around inside. Now down comes the window net. The universal sign that the driver is okay.
Let's take a look. There we see the 99 truck going on the inside. Ruffner does not realize that Chuck Bound is there. He comes down the hill. Hell, I see Bound tries to get on the apron of the racetrack to dodge him. When he gets sideways, he goes up and bangs the 66 in the left rear.
Bound did a heck of a job of hanging on to that thing. About bounced out from under him, but Ruffner pays the price. Here's another angle.
And watch as the 99 gets on the apron of the racetrack. There we see he's going to go down and get on the apron of the racetrack, get sideways. When he saves it, back up the hill he goes into the left rear. And Jimmy Hensley in the 43 drives by.
Jimmy had a pretty good look at all that. Incidents on the racetrack here at Walt Disney World Speedway. Across the way at the Lake Buena Vista Golf Course, the action continues, and we'll go there live immediately following the conclusion of the race. Stay with us.
I don't know where this problem is. Right there. He's poised to try to get around.
Coming down to the proverbial NASCAR-style shootout here at Walt Disney World Speedway, the opening of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from 1997. A lot of surprises today. Ron Hornaday Jr., the reigning champion, having difficulties. The golf going on over across the way, the Health South inaugural, and we'll be joining there immediately after the conclusion of the race. It will be a single file restart as we go inside the last 10 laps here to determine whether Jack Sprague will be able to hold off Joe Ruttman, Rick Pirelli, Butch Miller, Rich Bickle, and the rest of the field. Bickle's got a 7-cylinder truck. I'd say he's hanging on pretty well because in that orange and black he is in 5th spot. We've got one more look at the mishap that has just put us under this, I hope, final yellow flag.
Right along Jimmy Hensley. And he goes in the corner, and all of a sudden they wreck the truck, and he just nails the gas and says, let me buy. Now, our scoring monitor has blown off. Okay, now it's working. So we're short 193 on our monitor. So there must be 6 to go when they get the green flag.
Cannot finish on the yellow. Then we would have another yellow. They would go to at the end of the race, they would go to a white flag and then a green. Let's go to Marty quickly.
All I can do is I talked to Dennis Conner right during the yellow. He says, man, we didn't need that. He is so worried. He thinks Joe Ruttman has saved his tires and has just enough to take his man. This is going to be some kind of shootout.
Connor's worrywart, Benny. He's been upset about that. There's Dennis. Got a lot of experience over the years. Used to work with Harry Hyde. He fears Joe Ruttman in the Ford. We'll find out what Joe's got for the leading Chevy and Jack Sprague as the green goes in the air.
That's a single file restart. All of the cars on the lead lap goes to right beside it.
tries to get away from the persistent Ruttman.
That guy in third place, Butch Miller, might be in pretty good shape.
Into the grass with a lap to go. One flag flies. Ruttman trying to get the nose alongside that touch. He's into the outside wall. Ruttman goes by. On the final lap of the race, Ruttman made his contact with the tail of Sprague. Truck Sprague goes around, and Ruttman to the 0-3.
Here comes Joe Ruttman. Turn 3, and yes, like I said, Butch Miller almost was in good shape.
Well, they said all's fair in love in the last lap. And Ruttman takes the checkered flag in the Roush Racing LCI Team 4. His third career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series victory. Let's go to quick bit of Bill Weber.
Randy Goss, congratulations. A wild finish. You said it come down to the last 15. It came down to the last one.
Yeah, the truck was really good. I mean, the LCI Ford was dialed in today. Our shot guy did a heck of a job for us. Ruttman was really focused today after he screwed up qualifying yesterday, but it's just a great deal. I'm happy for him.
You save your tires?
No, he was hanging it out. I think our shot guy did it for us. I really do.
Okay, head to victory lane. Congratulations, Joe Ruttman, the winner.
First win for those guys together. Ruttman's first win with Roush Racing. He won 2 races in 1995. Here's how it happened, Benny.
Well, he goes down in the corner. He hits the brakes awfully hard. He thought he had a run, but he saw that Sprague was coming down, and we saw the nose of the 80 truck go down as he tried to stop. He couldn't. Made contact, and a gut round goes Sprague.
After leading 175 laps today, Jack Sprague's race ends against the concrete wall outside turn 1. And Joe Ruttman drives to victory lane, second in the points in 95, fourth in 96. He's off to a winning start. In 1997, he has won the Chevy Trucks Challenge here at Walt Disney World Speedway. Marty.
Well, we're down victory lane with a very happy Joe Ruttman. Hush, dog. We should have done this a long time ago. I can't believe, Randy Goss and Rich Reichenbach and all the guys on the team, Matt and Ken, and I don't want to forget anyone because these guys have been digging real hard, and we've had a winning truck right along, and Jack has reminded me that 2 or 3 times, and he had a big, long talk with me last night, so maybe, Jack, this is your win, or maybe it's both of our wins. I'm really, really pumped, and I'm glad to have MCI aboard, and now I can make some phone calls because it's a lot cheaper now. There's your winner, Joe Ruttman.
All right, Benny, you called him a man on a mission. Today, he's the man at the top of the heap. Great run.
Great run by Joe Ruttman. And Joe, it's LCI. Look on your hat there, buddy.
NASCAR has ruled that the past will stand, that indeed, again, all's fair in the last lap. Sprague trying to come down and block the line. Ruttman making the effort to miss him. Watch the nose dive on the number 80.
There we see the nose dive as you see Sprague coming down the hill.
Down below the white line with the number 80 trying to avoid him, and around goes Sprague, and that is the story of the season opener for 1997. A heartwarming win for Joe Ruttman, and a huge heartbreak for the man who had the dominant truck all day, Jack Sprague. Pick your favorite driver as we run you down through the field. Some impressive performances by rookies here today. Sprague will finish the day in 15th spot. We'll take you all the way back through. Benny, I'll tell you what, this place provides some exciting racing. I expect we'll see a lot more races on this one.
Didn't the same thing happen last year at Homestead? Didn't Jack Sprague and Resendez have a problem on the last lap?
And that's the kind of action you expect with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Crank it up. Check them out. 25 races to go to decide the championship. We're going to golf next. Thanks to Bill Weber and Marty Reed. Benny Parsons, I'm Dave Despain. Appreciate you being here. So long. Is that what happened? Huh?
Do what? Is this talk back working?
Let's go back down to Mike King. Mike? Well, Joe Rudman now receiving congratulations from everyone here, and I tell you what final lap.
Yes, I am.
Joe Rudman is here, and we're ready to make the trophy presentation. Here to make it is Michael Cremoni.
In the interest of moving forward and saving a bit of time, let's advance our coverage here of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener at Orlando. It's the Chevy Trucks Challenge at Walt Disney World Speedway, and let's get back to the competition.
Well, let's see. I close my eyes, and I hope for the best. No, Jack's wiggled off the corner, and the tire's been going bad. And I knew that was my only shot, and he obviously cut down on me, and we made contact. It was a shame. But,
Nobody want to leave. They want to leave. The fans are still here. No. No.
This racing, I guess, we should have won a lot of them, but we lost a couple of them in the last lap. I tell you what, let's bring Mike Cremoni in and Michael Sawyer. Joe, that was a super race you drove today. No better way than to start the new year with a win. And you beat the best today.
Walt Disney came down here 25 years ago with a dream of building the Magic Kingdom. I don't know that he ever dreamed of the Chevy Trucks Challenge. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racers have come here to do battle, and what an exciting battle it has been thus far. A lot of excitement, a lot of yellow flags. In the interest of time, we're going to move forward in our coverage and continue the quest for victory here in the series opener at Walt Disney World Speedway in Orlando, Florida.